Bruce Lee was larger than life, lightning fast, and full of charisma. His unique martial artistry made him a legend in Hollywood.
He was an action hero, a cultural icon, a martial arts legend on the cusp of superstardom.
Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial arts icon. He was practically a human machine that changed everything we knew about the boundaries of a human's physical potential.
Bruce Lee was the first true mixed martial artist because he was the first true guru that was shouting it from the top of the hills.
But behind his legendary status and intense training are secrets that made him look superhuman. From lifting weights when traditional martial artists considered it a taboo to combining strength training with combat techniques in ways not seen before, you might be wondering how he was able to do it all. You're about to have your questions answered as we reveal the shocking secrets behind Bruce Lee's intense training. Bruce Lee's intense training. Bruce Lee was an incredibly strong person for his weight of about 135 pounds, and this made people amazed at how such a lean person could be so powerful. What was his secret? Everyone asked. The secret was his intense training, which would surprise even today's fitness experts. You see, Lee challenged traditional martial artists by including weight training in his personal training. But many martial artists in the past had never thought of this because they felt like it would make them slow and stiff. But Lee proved them wrong. He used weights in a special way that only he knew, making him extremely strong without losing his speed and flexibility. Lee's training had 4 key pillars, and these pillars were tough and demanding, pushing his body and mind to the limit. For an all-round training, he believed in a balanced approach, focusing on strength, speed, power, and flexibility. This unique training method changed martial arts and inspired countless athletes. But what are these pillars? And how did it make Bruce Lee stronger? Stay tuned to find out. The 4 dangerous pillars in Bruce Lee training include maximum force generation, which allowed him to add some isometric exercises.
Bruce Lee, who used mainly compound lifts with his overcoming isometrics,
where he would exert maximum force against immovable objects. Just imagine trying to push a wall as hard as you can, holding that tension for as long as possible. Looks impossible, right? But Lee would do this for hours, engaging every muscle in his body. This might seem strange, but it was incredibly effective for building raw strength. The second pillar was explosive speed training. Lee wasn't just about brute force. He also focused on explosive speed, training his body to react with lightning-fast reflexes. He pushed himself to the edge of his limits, developing a level of speed and agility that seemed superhuman. But Lee's training wasn't just about strength and speed. He also incorporated unconventional methods to build strength in unique ways, which brings us to the third pillar, which is unconventional strength development. He understood that strength wasn't just about lifting heavy weights. He explored different ways to challenge his body, finding innovative methods to improve his power and performance. The last but not the least pillar is brutal endurance conditioning. Lee emphasized on this pillar and pushed his body to its absolute limits, enduring grueling workouts that would test the will of even the most dedicated athletes. This relentless pursuit of peak physical condition allowed him to perform at his best under intense pressure. Lee's revolutionary training system combined these 4 pillars into a single, punishing regime. This very unique approach not only made him one of the most physically gifted martial artists of all time, but also revolutionized the way martial artists think about strength training. Bruce Lee was more than just a martial artist. He was a philosopher of movement.
Lee was also a philosopher.
He wasn't obsessed with simply building bigger muscles. His focus was on becoming stronger, faster, and more alert. He believed in a deep connection between mind and body, understanding that true strength comes from within. Lee's training methods made him stay lean, weighing around 135 pounds while yet possessing incredible strength. He could do amazing things like doing push-ups on just 2 fingers and holding heavy weights with his arms outstretched for extended periods. This wasn't about brute force, it was about efficiency. Lee maximized his power to add weight ratio, making every movement count. He wasn't just lifting weights, he was exploring the principles of movement. He believed that by understanding how the body works, he could push his limits further. He experimented constantly, always searching for new and innovative ways to train. He wasn't afraid to break the rules, challenging traditional martial arts norms and developing his own unique style. Lee developed his own martial art philosophy, Jeet Kune Do, which emphasized on efficiency, directness, and simplicity. He questioned conventional wisdom, even in the world of bodybuilding. Instead of blindly following trends, he entered into scientific research, looking for ways to optimize his training for maximum effectiveness. His workouts were mixtures of difficult exercises, like squats and deadlifts, which built overall strength, and isolation exercises, and targeted specific muscles. He recognized the value of exercises like bicep curls, not just for aesthetics, but for their helpful benefits in grappling and other martial arts uses. This isn't all because Lee was also seen as a relentless pursuer of excellence. He pushed himself to the limit, constantly seeking new challenges and refining his techniques. Running was a part of his routine, and he continually increased the difficulty by adding weighted runs to improve his endurance. It wasn't just about working out hard, it was about taking care of his whole self, including his mind and spirit. How was Bruce Lee able to achieve this feat with ease, and how did his training per day look like? Keep watching to find out. Lee's training schedule for every day. Bruce Lee was a master of both physical and mental discipline. His daily routine was intense and showed his relentless drive for excellence. He started every day early, often at dawn, with a tough 6-hour morning session. This began with a challenging run, where he sometimes wore a weighted vest to push his endurance.
Bruce Lee did interval running, changing his tempo and speed throughout his run.
For Bruce, running wasn't just exercise. It was a way to build the stamina needed for combat. After running, he spent 2 hours refining his martial arts techniques, focusing on punches, kicks, and blocks. He didn't just practice moves, he studied the principles behind them, aiming for efficiency and fluidity. Next came an hour of strength training. Unlike traditional bodybuilders, Bruce didn't aim for big muscles. He wanted functional strength that directly improved his martial arts. He did exercises like squats, deadlifts, and presses, but focused on explosive power. His strength sessions ended with intense core workouts, pushing his abdominal muscles to their limit. In the afternoon, Bruce trained from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. This session focused on speed and explosive power. He worked on speed drills to sharpen his reflexes and practiced plyometrics, which involve quick, powerful movements. These exercises helped him build agility and power. He also did weightlifting with fast and powerful movements, aiming to generate maximum force in a short time. But Bruce's training wasn't just about the body. He understood the importance of mental strength. He practiced meditation and visualization to sharpen his focus. Bruce believed a strong mind was just as important as a strong body. In the evening, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., Bruce blended physical conditioning with mental development. He did activities like swimming or cycling to improve his cardiovascular fitness. He also studied philosophy, which he felt was key to becoming a true martial artist. He believed mental sharpness was essential for physical excellence. One of Bruce's secrets was cardio training.
Bruce Lee's training also incorporated large amounts of cardio work.
This gave him the stamina to stay strong in fights. He also focused on speed instead of lifting heavier weights. For Bruce, moving faster was as important as lifting heavier. This approach helped him activate fast twitch muscle fibers, which create quick and powerful movements. By speeding up his exercises, Bruce could gain strength without getting bulky. His method made workouts more exciting and effective, showing that creativity in training could lead to amazing results. After workouts, Bruce tensed his entire body, much like how bodybuilders pose. This helped him focus on how each muscle worked, improving his control and performance. Bruce Lee's training was ahead of its time. He wasn't afraid to try new techniques or rethink traditional workouts. His creativity and dedication made his routines not just effective, but revolutionary. Bruce showed that success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. Bruce Lee's workouts were so impressive that famous bodybuilders like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno took notice. Flex Wheeler, a champion bodybuilder, even said that Lee was a pioneer in combining bodybuilding with martial arts. How did these difficult training make Bruce Lee unique? How Bruce Lee's training made him unique. Bruce Lee's training made him a one-of-a-kind martial artist. He was not just focused on looking strong. He was dedicated to being the best fighter he could be. His approach to training wasn't about following tradition or doing what everyone else did. Instead, he challenged himself to think differently and push beyond limits. This mindset shaped his style and set him apart from others. After his fight with Wong Jack Man in 1964, Bruce realized he needed to change his methods. He felt his stamina and footwork weren't enough. The fight taught him that traditional kung fu alone wouldn't work in all situations. Bruce wanted to be faster, stronger, and smarter in combat. He started questioning old ways of training and worked on finding better techniques. Bruce turned to his friends James Lee and Alan Joe, who helped him to go into weightlifting. Alan Joe, who had trained with famous bodybuilder Steve Reeves, showed Bruce how to build strength without losing speed. Bruce's weight went from 140 to 165 pounds, but he didn't just gain muscle. He gained strength that made him a better fighter. His strength training focused on movements that worked in real fights, like quick punches and powerful kicks. What made Bruce unique was his ability to blend strength with speed and precision. Most fighters focused on one or the other, but Bruce mastered both. He didn't just train his body, he trained his mind, too. Bruce practiced visualization and meditation to improve his focus and control. He believed that mental sharpness was just as important as physical strength in a fight. Bruce's creative approach gave him an edge in combat. He trained for real-life situations, preparing for anything his opponent might do. His fast reflexes made him unpredictable and hard to beat. Bruce also learned to adapt. He studied different fighting styles and took what worked, blending them into his own. This adaptability made him stand out and gave him an advantage in fights. Even when he started acting in different movies, he also maintained his focus as a martial artist and teacher. Balancing both worlds wasn't easy, but Bruce saw the importance of staying fit and sharp for both his roles and his fighting philosophy. In the end, his journey from Hong Kong to Hollywood, from traditional kung fu to a more holistic approach to fitness, reshaped his legacy. But Bruce Lee's training methods, although special, were considered to have potential risks. He pushed his body and mind to extreme levels, which helped him achieve incredible results. But modern sports medicine has shown that some of his techniques could be harmful. Issues like nervous system burnout, joint damage, and cardiovascular strain were risks associated with his intense routines. Athletes today have learned from these risks and made changes to training methods. They use structured progression systems to avoid overtraining, better recovery protocols to allow the body to heal, and scientific monitoring to track performance safely. These improvements make training safer while still being effective. Despite the dangers, Bruce Lee's methods changed martial arts forever. He was willing to challenge traditions and combine physical and mental training in new ways. His approach laid the foundation for modern mixed martial arts and cross-training techniques. This makes him a key figure in combat sports history. Bruce Lee's training secrets show both the power and the risks of pushing human limits. While his methods were innovative and effective, they came with dangers. His story teaches us that achieving greatness often requires balancing innovation with caution. Kareem's towering presence and long limbs give him a calm, almost unbeatable appearance. At first, Kareem's height and reach seemed to give him the upper hand, allowing him to attack from a distance. His effortless movements make him look unstoppable. But as the fight continues, it becomes clear that Lee's real challenge is not just about strength, but about using his quick thinking and agility to outsmart Kareem. This fight is not just about hitting hard, it's about the mind's ability to overcome obstacles. In the famous scene where Bruce Lee faces Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, there's a deeper meaning behind their fight. Kareem represents raw physical strength but lacks flexibility. His fighting style is straightforward, relying heavily on his size and power. In contrast, Lee's character is all about being adaptable, which mirrors Lee's personal martial arts philosophy, Jeet Kune Do, which stresses the need to avoid rigid techniques and embrace flexibility. At first, Kareem's character seems to have the advantage because his long reach keeps Lee at a distance. However, as the fight progresses, Lee adapts, finding and exploiting Kareem's weaknesses by using his agility to close the gap. This battle highlights how even overwhelming challenges can be overcome through cleverness, speed, and flexibility. Although Game of Death was never completed, the fight between Lee and Kareem remains one of the most iconic in film history. It's more than just a display of physical prowess. It embodies Lee's martial arts philosophy in action. For Lee, the scene demonstrates the importance of being adaptable and mentally sharp when confronting raw power. It also teaches that no challenge is too great if one can stay flexible, a lesson that applies beyond martial arts and into everyday life. This scene captivates audiences and leaves a lasting message about the power of combining physical action with strategic thinking. For Kareem, being part of this iconic fight scene was a turning point. It allowed people to see him as more than just a basketball star. It showed his openness to new experiences beyond sports. Even today, Kareem speaks about how much he gained from training with Bruce Lee, both physically and mentally. The impact of their fight extends beyond martial arts films. It has appeared in countless movies, TV shows, and video games, standing as a key moment in action film history and a symbol of the intersection between martial arts and popular culture. The striking contrast between the two fighters, the deeper meanings behind their battle, and the unforgettable pairing of two legends from different worlds make the scene truly timeless. It isn't just a piece of movie history. It's a powerful example of how different cultures can come together and be celebrated through film. Beyond fighting, Bruce and Kareem shared a close friendship. They bonded not only over martial arts, but also through their unique approaches to fitness. While other basketball players followed typical warm-up routines, Kareem often practiced yoga, which was uncommon at the time and may have looked strange to others. But his practice of yoga helped him stay strong and extended his basketball career. His curiosity didn't stop there. He was also deeply interested in martial arts and even earned a black belt. As already mentioned, his journey into martial arts began one summer in New York while he was a student at UCLA. He started learning a Japanese martial art and was so intrigued that he wanted to continue training when he returned to Los Angeles. Through connections at Black Belt magazine, he discovered Bruce Lee and became linked to his new martial arts style, Jeet Kune Do. This unexpected turn led to a profound relationship between the two, one that extended far beyond their famous on-screen battle. This mention caught his attention and marked the beginning of a deep and unforgettable friendship. Bruce Lee invited Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over to his home, and when Kareem arrived, Bruce asked about his martial arts background, his experience in fighting, and his time in boxing. They quickly found common ground, which helped them form an immediate connection. Bruce then wanted to see Kareem's skills. He placed a heavy punching bag in front of him, held it steady from behind, and asked Kareem to punch and kick it. After watching Kareem's technique, Bruce offered to teach him a few moves. The real surprise came when Bruce called over his wife, Linda, to help with a demonstration. Linda punched and kicked the bag so hard that she knocked Kareem off his feet, sending him tumbling across the room. Witnessing her power motivated Kareem to learn how to develop that kind of strength. That moment was a turning point for Kareem, and he remains grateful for it. He recalls another time when Bruce playfully threw a punch at him, not to hurt him, but to prove a point. Bruce explained that if the punch had been real, it could have shattered Kareem's nose. These moments were just a glimpse of their time together, filled with lessons, surprises, and wisdom. But there's more to the story. A man of great impact. Kareem speaks again about Bruce Lee, a man who had a tremendous impact on his life, as the documentary Be Water is set to air. This film explores Bruce Lee's enduring influence, especially his special bond with Kareem. Their friendship began in the late 1960s, and this meeting sparked a lasting friendship that shaped their lives and careers. The documentary Be Water brings their story to life with personal interviews and anecdotes from those who knew Bruce. It highlights how Bruce's approach to martial arts and life had a profound impact on Kareem, not just in basketball, but in everyday life. Kareem credits Bruce's teachings for helping him stay in great physical shape throughout his career and avoiding serious injuries. But Bruce's influence didn't stop with Kareem. Be Water also shows how his philosophy inspired other NBA stars like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, proving that Bruce's lessons on adaptability and mastery resonate beyond martial arts. The documentary also provides an intimate look at Bruce's challenges in Hollywood, particularly his efforts to change the way Asians were portrayed in film. Through touching stories from family and friends, viewers gain a deeper understanding of Bruce's life and legacy. Beyond his martial arts stardom, Bruce was a personal hero to many, including Kareem. Their friendship wasn't just about martial arts, it was built on mutual respect, shared experiences, and the lasting influence they had on each other. Kareem, however, was deeply upset by Bruce Lee's portrayal in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He felt that the film got it wrong by depicting Bruce as arrogant and boastful, which wasn't true to his character. According to Kareem, Bruce was a humble and serious martial artist, deeply committed to challenging negative stereotypes of Asians in American films, not reinforcing them. In the movie, Bruce is shown bragging about being able to defeat Muhammad Ali and then losing a fight to a stuntman, played by Brad Pitt. This scene not only upset Kareem, but also Bruce's daughter, Shannon Lee, who called it a disrespectful and inaccurate representation of her father. Kareem explained that the real Bruce Lee was devoted to martial arts as a path to personal growth and self-discipline. For Bruce, martial arts were not about fighting, but about improving oneself. He often turned down public challenges to fight because he didn't feel the need to prove anything. He was confident in his abilities and who he was. Kareem criticized the film for clinging to old stereotypes that Bruce had spent his life trying to break. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was particularly disappointed with Bruce Lee's portrayal in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because he usually respects Quentin Tarantino for his creativity and fresh ideas. His critique highlights a larger issue in Hollywood. Filmmakers have a responsibility to portray historical and cultural figures accurately, as these depictions shape public perceptions. Kareem was upset that his friend was reduced to a stereotype rather than being shown as the trailblazing and influential figure he truly was. He believes films have the power to influence how we see history, so it's important to honor the real character and legacy of people like Bruce Lee. Kareem's relationship with Bruce also impacted his own career, especially when it came to health and fitness. Bruce Lee's emphasis on flexibility and stretching before physical activity helped Kareem stay injury-free during his basketball career. The benefits were so significant that Kareem incorporated yoga into his routine, which helped him prevent injuries even during the off-season. This commitment to physical fitness continued throughout his life. Even today, Kareem values flexibility as key to aging well, often joking that getting up after sitting is now more challenging than it used to be. During his NBA days, maintaining flexibility and movement in every part of his body was crucial to his success. This kept him fit, alert, and energized, essential for meeting the high demands of professional sports. As time has passed, Kareem admits he's lost some speed and flexibility, but he continues to stress the importance of staying active. He engages in various types of exercise like weightlifting, swimming, and walking to stay strong, which helps with daily activities as he ages. Let's take a closer look at his workout schedule. Bruce Lee's workout schedule. Without mincing words, a look at Lee's workout schedule reveals that it is a roadmap to physical excellence. But more than a roadmap to physical excellence, the early workout routines of Bruce Lee reveal great intentionality behind his pursuit of mastery. It was at Hak Kyung Gymnasium in Hong Kong back in 1965 that Lee was not haphazardly just raising and putting down weights to gain muscle. His routine was carefully structured to develop functional strength, a kind of power different from aesthetic muscle and one clearly linked with the requirements of the martial arts. The squat, French press, and wrist curl, common enough weight training exercises, were nevertheless selected with due care. Each exercise was selected to highlight a specific area of his martial performance, whether it involved explosive power in the lower body for kicks, upper body endurance for striking, or the iron grip needed to execute holds and locks. In his workout design is shown how this individual grasped the ties that exist between strength and martial effectiveness. This next bit is what makes his approach stand out, and it is mind-blowing. What makes Lee's approach even more impressive is the manner in which it was so fluid and adaptive. Indeed, it reflects his greater philosophy of being like water, flowing and able to change course at any moment. His training routine was not set in stone but dynamic, and no doubt lay at the heart of his concept of martial arts. He regarded the body as a holistic system which required agility, speed, and precision, not just raw strength. Besides weight training, he also included drills that honed his reflexes, perfected his technique, and developed stamina. He combined exercises that successfully built strength with those of speed training, compounds challenging every aspect of his body to keep him quick, flexible, and efficient in movements. He implemented such a process, whereby he came to understand that true excellence in martial arts is a harmonization of the body and the mind, that nothing in training is done in and of itself, but holistically and in an evolving practice. As Bruce Lee moved into his prime years, his training regimen evolved into a highly demanding and meticulous routine, emphasizing the need to sharpen both body and mind. His 1968 training logs provide a detailed snapshot of a man committed to mastering every aspect of his physicality. Lee's days were strategically structured, beginning with early morning runs to build endurance and agility, followed by a series of intensive, focused workouts spread throughout the day. These sessions ranged from practicing hundreds of punches and finger jabs to heavy bag work, stretching, and specialized leg drills. The precision with which Lee approached these exercises underscored his deep understanding of the human body and how to push it beyond its limits. Whether it was explosive kicking routines or isometric training for his forearms, each exercise had a specific purpose, designed to optimize his speed, strength, and endurance. His evening sessions would often include grueling abdominal work, proving that even at the end of a long day, he maintained the discipline to focus on his core strength, which was integral to his martial arts technique. Yet Lee knew that training alone wasn't enough to sustain his elite level of performance. His philosophy extended to his diet, which he treated as seriously as his workouts. Lee's nutritional approach was based on the idea that food should serve the body's functional needs, fueling intense physical exertion while maintaining lean muscle and optimal energy levels. He adhered to smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day, understanding that this approach kept his metabolism steady and allowed for better nutrient absorption. His diet was largely focused on nutrient-dense foods, avoiding what he called empty calories, like refined carbohydrates, which he believed offered little in terms of lasting energy. Instead, he leaned into whole, unprocessed foods, favoring lean meats, fresh vegetables, and fruits. His Chinese heritage influenced his food choices, often opting for traditional dishes such as beef with oyster sauce, while supplementing his diet with nutrient-rich elements like royal jelly and ginseng-infused tea. These supplements weren't just for show. They played an integral role in enhancing his energy levels, circulation, and overall vitality, reflecting his holistic view of martial arts as not just physical combat, but as a complete lifestyle. By aligning his rigorous physical training with a balanced and intentional diet, Bruce Lee crafted a body that was as efficient as it was powerful, allowing him to remain injury-free and at the peak of his martial arts career. This synergy between fitness and nutrition was fundamental to his iconic status and the lasting legacy he left behind. Most experts agree on the consensus that varied exercises for endurance, strength, balance, and flexibility can improve both physical and mental health in a unique manner. Aerobic exercises, such as walking, swimming, and cycling, will add to cardiovascular health by reducing the risk of chronic diseases, such as heart disease and diabetes. This strength training is beneficial in maintaining muscle mass through weightlifting or resistance exercises. Hence, there is no reduction of muscle mass with increased age. Balance exercises are important in enhancing stability and reducing the risk of falls, while flexibility training, such as yoga or stretching, advances joint mobility and facilitates ease of daily movements. Beyond the physical benefits, these varied exercises stimulate brain function and help sharpen the mind to cognitive decline. It normalizes mood through anxiety and depression, for studies showed that physical activity increases the level of endorphins associated with feeling well. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar admits to how much more stretching hurts now compared to when he was younger, but remains passionate about the need to stay active. Increasing evidence points to exercise as an acute component of sustaining energy levels and mental acuity throughout life. Even into his years and accompanying flexibility changes, Abdul Jabar has continued to impress upon his audience the need for movement as a means of maintaining the strength and mobility necessary for independent living in older age. He is not alone among other athletes and exercise professionals in this regard. For example, the American Heart Association recommends both aerobic and strength training exercises across the spectrum of life for optimal health. It's a living, breathing testimony from Abdul Jabar on how lifelong physical activity can keep both body and mind working well enough to allow a person to grow older gracefully and confidently. What are your thoughts about Bruce Lee's devotion to martial arts? Do you think anyone can easily achieve all that he achieved? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Click on the next video displayed